Alex Anzalone. All right, the broken forearm. It was pretty clear as day. We saw it. You could see him mouth the words. It's broken. Just as you've gotten a little familiar with it, I know that people were talking about surgery. I don't know that surgery has happened. What was your take when you saw it happen, I guess?
It's funny. I was actually at the game, and we saw him walking off. We never saw the injury because it was just like a whatever incident, and it all happened kind of on the sideline. But when the trainer was holding his arm, I go to the person with me. I'm like, either that's fully dislocated or that's broken, the way they're walking out. He's like, no, we didn't see anything. But then when you look back, I don't know if they have the clip, the active clip of what happened. It's just that wedging thing. It's like two forces going the opposite direction with his arm extended at, weakened. It's, I don't want to say it's similar to Aiden's situation, but
the physics are, right?
Yeah, the physics are the way the fracture happened. It's just you're putting your arm out there. You got one force going this way, another force going this way. Something's got to give, and he felt it. He walked off. Didn't not a tear in his eye, and he's got to be back. I think we show the anatomy just to go over. Let's take a step back. There's an ulnar bone and a radial bone. So ulnar,
I remember that from school, Doc. The radius and the ulna. Let's go.
There you go. Attached to plain operation all over again.
No water on the knee, though.
So which one did he break?
So they say they're both, the forearm is broken.
Oh, okay.
I cannot get clarity, and I don't know if anybody's been able to, but we can't get clarity on which one. The radial plays a smaller role. The ulnar plays a much larger role. But, we got text right after it happened. I said 3 to 4 months for full recovery. And that's bone, that's anatomy, that's physiology. It's really 6 months till the bone strengthens. But when you start talking about, full dislocation, how did it happen? Sounds like it was more of a clean break. People are putting out there 6 to 8 weeks. What does that mean? He's not going to be a rock star in 6 to 8 weeks, but he can be healed, ready to play because it's his left arm, number one. Two, that we can give him the secret sauce, and basically it's almost a cast. You almost play with a cast. There's plenty of players in the football, NFL over the years playing in a cast in football as definitely as a defensive guy. So I think this guy has that grit, that hard-nosed attitude that he wants to be on this team on the short end. And I think without the surgery, sometimes surgery's better, I will tell you, because now you got plates in there holding it together, where if he's just going natural healing, then you got to worry about pure physiology. So there's a plus or minus there on that situation.
Talking with Dr. Pierce here. It is Tuesday on Big D Energy from the Michigan Sports and Spine Center. And according to Lions Wire, I was reading this as a prognosis. They said Anzalone will likely have surgery using a plate and screws to fix the bone or bones. They did give that distinction, bone or bone, so I would imagine they don't have the full clarity either. Initial estimated recovery 6 to 8 weeks, as relayed by Dan Campbell. The bone or bones should be fully healed in that 6 to 8 week time frame. And you just said that. Healing, yes. Strengthened, no. But the bottom line is, Doc, on this kind of time frame we're looking at, everyone knows the stakes. Most of all, Alex Anzalone.
Oh yeah,
and that's the driver, right? Like, what I'm curious about, Doc, in your experience, how do those discussions go when you're saying here's what it is, and the athlete's like, yeah, cool story, Doc. I'm going out there and playing. How is the give and take there?
Honestly,
yes.
Honestly, it's like, Doc, we're going for the Super Bowl. I want to be a part of it. I've been working my butt off. I've been training. I'm not missing it. So you figure out how to get me on that field.
Okay.
You have hockey mentality, which, fortunately, I've had a lot of discussions with these guys. That's what it is. I'm playing. You get me there. Because I'll do everything you say to get myself there. And not switching over to Hutchinson, but same kind of attitude. He's right on, or he's before. I don't want to switch subjects yet, but so we do have the video.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys are watching it, but this is what I predicted. I want to go back to my prediction voice and then say he's going to be in the water treadmill, which he's doing there. The big thing I wanted to point out is people's like, oh, he's in water. There's a reason why he's in water. He's up to his neck or up to his chest. So from a physiological standpoint, remember I said he's got to be non-weight bearing to the area. So when you get up to your neck, you're at 90% weight of minimal weight bearing, meaning no weight bearing. He's only putting 10% of his weight through that leg. At your waist, you're at about 50%. Actually, at your belly button is what we call it. But at that level, you're at 50%, and then you go down. So he's starting at the phase 1, maybe he's phase 1.5 right now, but he's definitely ahead. I mean, what we worry about, we'll get back to Alex, but with Hutchinson, you're worried about, number one, infection. We haven't heard anything about infection for setback. We remember Manning had terrible setbacks because of infection on his neck surgery. We're not seeing that here. We're seeing him basically being right on track or ahead of himself and being in the water. Being able to weight bear like that is great signs. And I'm still going on record that he's going to beat that 6 months, but I don't know if he's going to beat the 4-month time frame. I think seeing him and getting your attitude of having him on the sidelines is great for playoffs. Having him active may or may not be the realistic time frame, but this guy's here. He's here to break everybody's records, but physiology and Mother Nature still kind of takes over on.
And here's the silver lining. Talk about this, Doc, because Dan Campbell touched on it and said, well, now Anzalone and Hutchinson can sit in the rehab room but there is something to that from somebody who's been injured a lot. When you have motivation to what you said, all these guys are thinking about and asking the questions, what do I need to do to be ready for the playoffs or the Super Bowl, whatever it is. And these are two leaders on your team too. So this even goes more where they can lean on each other, and especially on those tough days, not just on the trainers, but a guy that you know is going to be in there and invested as much a part. So there's a psychological advantage, the silver lining, so to speak.
No, it's huge, and it can't be understated because there's depression when you're in there all by yourself and you're working the whole other teams on a different schedule. When you got a buddy in there, a buddy system, you're talking about two, like you said, two leaders, two glass half fulls. I mean, they're going to motivate, they're going to help each other recover at a higher level than anticipated on their own. And it does take
pressure. He's been in this position before, and here's the one thing that he'd be looking in to make sure we didn't overdo it. They're going to have to be pulled back to not pushing each other too quickly, right? As they're starting to feel bad. How many conversations you had that? It's like,
chill,
God, dude, I'm back on the ice. Look, I'm striding like this. Let me hot lap a cup. Dude,
easy
save
guy.
that's Thursday. You get to so there is that excitement also, and that's where the conversation. But they know task at hand. And they're playing for something, so they're going to do whatever they can to get back.
That was the other thing I was going to bring up. There's motivation, high motivation. It's not like Prescott, who's in Dallas. Like, I have a hamstring injury. I'm going to have surgery. I'm going to slow play. Like, there's just a different mentality.
He's motivated not to get back in.
Right.
Different kinds.
There's no motivation for him to get back on the field. We'll put it that way. But you got something?
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, it's just like Mac is a perfect example. I fixed him how many times, and you did not. Zero listening skills. I mean, we put all the biologics into him. You can't play for at least 2 to 4 weeks. We did on Thursday. He calls me Monday. Feels great. Played yesterday for 2. What are you doing? And then he proves to himself, Doc doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm fine.
Woodward Sports chat thread. Jump into there. Get your Doc's here, man. Fire away the questions like James did. Hey, Doc, do you think that's a saltwater pool that he's in?
Yeah, we pulled water in from the Dead Sea because that Dead Sea does have that special sauce internally. There is some electrolytes and stuff in there, but no, the salt's not. Epsom salt baths, that's good for wound healing and stuff like that. But I think we just got pure treadmill water there.
All right, Greg, I believe that, Dr. Pierce. Well, Darren McCarty did too, as a matter of fact. So I guess that is good. But Doc, again, going back to it, just with the Hutch thing, he's going to leave no stone unturned. No. Like that. That. If you're on the doctor end, you know what you're up against with these guys. And with Alex Anzalone, that probably is a little more realistic towards the end of the season. It's just, for me, Doc, I don't know that you're going to have a chance to keep Alex Anzalone out of the game. Whatever that looks like. And I guess what I'm driving at is this. I'm just going to ask the question, Doc. When you have a broken bone, there are ways to manipulate getting through 3 hours with the broken bone. There are.
There are. But it still has to be healed. I mean, it's not going to be next week. I mean,
right.
The 6 to 8 week, I think, is possible with risk. And this guy is going to listen to the risk. He's going to listen to how do I get on the field. And that's I'm putting the prediction out there that he will do it. It's his left arm. I mean, this guy's football intelligence plays a whole different role. But it's going to be a coaching thing because you're talking about 6 to 8 weeks with the Lions gelling with a new head guy, right? So you mentioned Carpenter. I mean, he's going to step up. These guys stepped up in the second half. Granted, it was a team that we should have handled like we did, but now the next couple of weeks are going to be real tests of where that defense is playing without him. Is he, like they said, he does the most snaps, he has the most plays. He's an integral part of that defense, and it's going to be hard to keep him off. Does he come in playing like he did before? No. Does he come in on key plays where he's a part of it and getting through that 3 hours of discomfort? Yeah, there's secret sauce there, but he has to be from a physiological, biological, nobody's going to jeopardize him having a long-term issue because of this. There's nobody that's going to make that decision, but he's got a great team that's been proven on other injuries. They're making all the right decisions right now. Just like Laporta. I said Laporta sits. Laporta sat. Those are common sense. Could he have played? Probably if we really needed him. But the medical team and Dan Campbell are on the same page, and these players are listening and trusting what's going on.
Last one. Have you seen situations where the coaches, the medical team, and the players were not all on the same page?
Oh, my gosh, all day.
Well, I say that, and I ask you that to highlight or illustrate this whole organization is in lockstep. It's something we haven't seen with this football team ever in our lives. They're in lockstep.
I'm glad you're putting it out that way because that's kind of what I'm getting at, is they are all on the same page. The team, the management, the lawyers, the agents are not on the same page in a lot of locker rooms in the NFL today at this moment. There's a lot of them that are not on the same page. I think there's a guy that went to the Jets that we can give an example of as a pure example of that. But the Lions are proving everybody, there's no fear. There's no, I'm keeping it a secret. I think the open book transparency is a huge wave to success. Good or bad, they're going to put every of their best foot forward at the right time, and the timing right now is perfect. There's no player like, I got a secret agenda. I mean, even J-Mo, I think he's coming around his maturity that he's going to be on the same page with transparency too. You can put great talent, right? We've seen great talent. Basketball is a great example. Great talent, but if everybody's not on that same canoe or boat paddling the same direction, you don't get the results you're getting here. Like Dan Campbell gets emotional, says he loves his team. I'm in.
Yeah.
I got accused. I wasn't a Lions fan when they were losing. I go, it's hard. But we're not a band. I don't want to accuse people of being bandwagons, but there's that emotional component. Where do I spend my time? Some people in our Detroit market spend their time no matter what. And other people, it's got to be worth their time. And the Lions are definitely worth our time. And I love the energy behind it. I mean, the game was crazy. I had my daughter with me. She's high-fiving and jumping up and down. Is she a big fan? I mean, Mac knows her personally. I mean, she's a golfer, and I can go to any sports game I want, but this was a fun one for her.
No, it's always fun when you get a chance to join us too, Doc. We appreciate it, my friend. Thank you.
Thanks,
I love
Doc.
keeping it real.
No, I do. I love that you do too. I love that you do too. That's Dr. Pierce, everybody.
And tell Flannel, at least put the pillow down on the table before he smacks it.
We'll tell him the doc said that. We'll see if it makes a difference.
Oh my gosh!
It never gets old. It doesn't get that is Dr. Pierce, everybody, from Michigan Sports and Spine Center every Tuesday with us here on Big D Energy. Catch him again on Thursday. Thursday.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insight with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Big D Energy and Thursdays during Ermanni and Edwards, where he offers top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that I trust. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.